Hello, and welcome to Reads. That's short for really exciting and delightful stories. And I'm your host, Nahjee, and I'm a children's author. On this show, we explore children's stories and authors. Authors like you. As a matter of fact, you can appear on this show with me and read your story. You can write and illustrate a story no longer than 32 pages, and you can send it to 75 East Lancaster Avenue, Ardmore, PA, 19003. Or you can send your stories to lmtv@lowermerion.org. So you can be on TV with me and read your story to everyone. And doesn't that sound exciting? Well, speaking of stories, I have a special guest with me today. Ryanne Davis from Edgewood Elementary School is here to read her story, The Key. So welcome, Ryanne.
Oh.
So we had a contest a couple of months ago, and you were one of our winners. And we had a lot of submissions. We received over 60 submissions for one of our previous contests, and you were one of our winners. And we wanted you to come on to the show and share your story with the broader audience. Before I have you read one of your stories, you want to tell me just a little bit about how you came up with the idea for The Key?
Well, I was writing a lot of different series books, and it all began when I was at a beach and I drew a picture of a mermaid, and then I just started writing a story about it, and then I just kept writing stories about that same mermaid.
Fantastic. So I see before we started the show, you showed me a couple of your other stories. You had a whole portfolio of books that you've written in the past. So you have a passion for writing.
Yes.
And how long have you had this passion for writing?
Well, I've had it from a really, really long time ago. I don't know when it was. It was just a long time ago.
So do you see yourself being an author when you're older?
Yes.
Okay. And what's one of your favorite subjects in school?
Writing.
Writing, I'm sure it is. And how long did it take you to write this story for The Key?
It probably took me about a week to write because I was working on it a lot during the nighttime after school, and then just every day. So like every day I would do about 5 pages and the pictures maybe.
Interesting. So we had some other winners who they wrote the story, but they had someone else do the illustrations. But you did both. You did the illustrations and you wrote the story. Right? So you're a very good drawer as well as you are a writer.
I'm not a very good drawing.
Yeah. They're better than me. They're better than me. So without further ado, I'd like to have you read your story, The Key, to everyone.
The Key by Ryanne Davis. Hello, my name is Rosie Spark. I go on lots of adventures. I live in Emerald Ocean. I'm 12 and I'm in 7th grade. I go to school at Diamond Middle School. So, should I get to telling the story? Yeah, I should. About a month ago, my grandpa Mike came, but with an unusual surprise. He had a box. When he got in the door, he looked at me in my eye and started to walk to me. He said, "This box is for you. It holds the treasure of a lifetime. It's yours now." Rosie didn't know it, but she was the only person who could find the key. Then, the next day, she got a letter from the mysterious Logan Davis, saying that he knows Rosie had the box. Logan knew some places where it could be. Rosie said, "Tomorrow I will find that key." So she did. When she got to a beautiful place and met amazing people, she even met the Mermaid Queen. The Mermaid Queen is the most special mermaid ever. After a while, she said, "I found a clue," it said. "Hello, go 5 miles. Then you will probably find a clue." From Logan. Rosie was very confused. She knew it had to be a secret language. When she went to pull it in her backpack, something was on the back. It said, "Unscramble to find a clue. P.S. The word mystery word." She knew it was a direction. Rosie thought for a little. She figured it out after 15 minutes. She did exactly what it said. Rosie looked for a clue because Logan said there should be a clue. Soon, a big shimmering rock caught her eye. She found the clue. It said, "Go to the end of the rocks to find the key. You will go in a cave." Rosie had almost made it to the key. She swam really fast all the way home. Then the next day, her and her very, very supportive dad went to the dark cave. Ice and snow were in the cave, and icicles hanging from the frosty ceiling. They brought their swimmer car and rode it into the cave. Rosie was excited but scared. Soon something glowing grabbed her attention. Rosie had finally found the key. Rosie was so excited. Her and her dad went straight home. "Mom," yelled Rosie, "I found the key." "I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it," Rosie yelled over and over again. Rosie's friend Bridget and her little sister Kaylin came swimming as fast as lightning. "What?" yelled Bridget. "I did it! I found the key!" Rosie screamed back. Bridget and Kaylin were confused. Bridget and Kaylin didn't know about the key. Rosie went inside and grabbed everything. She showed everybody. The key, the box, 1 letter, 2nd letter. Now Rosie was ready for the mystery. What is in the box? Everybody was excited, including Bridget's dolphin, Flip. Rosie counted to 3. 1, 2, 3. She opened it. Inside was a little purple envelope. Rosie took it, opened it, and screamed in happiness. It was $1,000. The end.
The end. Wonderful job. Well, we enjoyed reading your story when you submitted it, and we just had to have you come in and share it with everyone else. Your writing and your illustrations, full of potential. I want you to keep writing. You see how far you've gotten so far being on this show. All right, so I look forward to reading one of your books in a couple of years and having a book signing, maybe at Barnes & Noble or another bookstore when you're famous as a famous writer. I can see it in you already. All right, and if we have another contest in the future, I hope that you will submit one of your other stories and come on the show again, all right? All right. Well, thank you for sharing your story, Ryanne. We'll be right back, take a break, and when we come back, we'll read another story and tell you more about how you can be on TV with me and read your story that you wrote. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back to Reads. That's short for really exciting and delightful stories. And I'm your host, Nahjee Grant, and I'm a children's author. On this show, we explore children's stories and authors like you. As a matter of fact, you can appear on this show with me and read your story. You can write and illustrate a story no longer than 32 pages, and you can submit your story to LMTV at 75 East Lancaster Avenue, Ardmore, PA 19003. Or you can email us at lmtv@lawmerion.org. So you can be on TV with me and read your story to everyone. And doesn't that sound exciting? Well, speaking of stories, I have a special guest with me today. Meghan from Episcopal Academy is here to read her story, The Story of Four Gods. And welcome, Meghan.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So we had a short story contest over the fall and winter, and you submitted your story. Actually, you submitted more than one story. You're the only one that submitted more than one story, which was great. And one of your stories was chosen, and we had over 60 submissions.
Oh, wow.
And you were one of our winners. I enjoyed reading your story, and we wanted you to share your story to a wider audience. Here you are today. So before you begin reading your story, just tell me a little bit about how you came up with the idea for your story.
Yeah. So I came up with the idea so originally I made this book called The Story of Fire, Water, and Air. But then I decided, well, this is a little too hard, so why don't I just make it out of dolls and just make a different kind of story? Because it was live pictures from my friend's playdate, because we tried to make a comic book on this. It didn't go over well.
Right.
So, and then I just decided, why don't I just make this book, and why don't I just submit it for a contest, because I already submitted another one, but this one seemed better than the other one, so might as well.
And here you are. And how long did it take you to write the story?
Not a lot. I think it took me only 2 days, I think.
Interesting. When kids ask me about the stories that I've written, it takes me 2 months. You did it in less than a week. I know. We did it in less than a week. You're very prolific writer. Better than me. Well, without further ado, I'm going to let you read your story to everyone.
It all started with a girl named Sky who lived at the orphanage for teenagers that are not normal. Then Sky got an invitation to the School of Gods. She ended up with 2 best friends, but only Claire was her roommate. Her other best friend, Emma, was roommates with her sister Cloud. Then one day, an evil god named Hela came. The girls went to fight. Then Emma was knocked out. They couldn't do without Emma. Then Sky's sister came. Meanwhile, Hela almost had Claire's shield down. Sky tried to make a tornado. Then Hela gets Claire's shield down. Suddenly, Emma is back. Then, a tornado. Hela tried to disable the tornado. Even with her sidekick, it was too powerful. They used all of their powers to keep the tornado running. Then they won that battle and many more. They were a team. That end, for now. About the author. Meghan Limaye is 8 years old. She loves swimming and art. Meghan goes to Episcopal Academy. She lives in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, with her parents and her cat Trouble.
So how did you come up with the idea for your illustrations? For your pictures? Because you're the only one
who did dolls to pictures.
Who did dolls to pictures.
Yeah. Well, because I always assumed, so I have a lot of dolls, and the dolls I actually choose some dolls after my friends, because Emma was based on my friend Emma Doherty, and Claire the God of Water was based on my friend Claire McIsaac, and Cloud wasn't really based on anybody. And Sky was based on me. Mm-hmm. But, and I tried to, I made, the only doll that really reminded me of fire was, the doll, it was actually, actually a Belle doll, honestly, from, the new live-action Beauty and the Beast. And I came up with, for, air reminded me of Mal from Descendants and Descendants 2. So I decided, why don't I use the Mal from Descendants 2 as Sky and the Mal from Descendants 1 as Cloud, because they look alike, but they different hairstyles. And then Claire, I decided a doll Darling Charming from Ever After High would be the best, because it has blue hair, this bluish outfit to make it look like water. Yeah, so yeah.
Well, it's a very creative process. And I like how it all came together. And I was very impressed with the story, very impressed with with the pictures, and more impressed with you being here today. All right, so I thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your story. And the sky's the limit for anything that you want to do with your life. All right, and you're more than welcome to submit another story for any other story contest that we have going on as well. Please submit again. All right. Well, it's great to speak with you, Meghan, and thank you for sharing your story. And how would you like to read your story with me right here on TV, just like Meghan? You can submit one story up to 32 pages, and you can submit your story to LMTV at 75 East Lancaster Avenue, Baltimore, PA 19003. Or you can email us at lmtv@lowermerion.org. So you can be on TV with me and read your story to everyone. And I know that sounds exciting. So until next time, keep writing and reading really exciting and delightful stories. Hello, and welcome back to Reads. That's short for really exciting and delightful stories. I'm your host, Nahjee Grant, and I'm a children's author. On this show, we explore children's stories and authors like you. As a matter of fact, you can appear on this show with me and read your story. You can write and illustrate a story no longer than 32 pages, and you can send it to 75 East Lancaster Avenue, Baltimore, PA 19003. Or you can email your story to lmtv@lowermerion.org. So you can be on TV with me and read your story to everyone. And doesn't that sound exciting? Well, speaking of stories, I have a special guest with me today. Rhegan Grant from Sacred Heart Academy in Bryn Mawr is here to read her story, Lizzie and the Missing Dog. And welcome, Rhegan. How are you?
Good.
Very good. So we had a short story contest in the past, and you were one of our winners. We had over 60 submissions, and you were one of our winners. Right? You were one of our winners. We enjoyed reading your story, and we wanted you to come in and read your story to a broader audience. So that's why you're here today. So before we have you read your story, just tell me a little bit how you came up with the idea for Lizzie and the Missing Dog.
Well, my teacher told me that we had to write a mystery story, and I didn't want my friends copying me, so I put my binder over my desk, and I was looking at a play script, and the names for the people who were doing the play gave me an idea for the names in my book. And
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And how long did it take you to write the story?
About maybe 2 days.
Okay. So it took you 2 days to write the story, and you did the illustration for the cover as well.
Yes.
So how long did that take you? Still within the 2 days? So you're a better illustrator than I am.
I don't know about that.
Trust me, you are. I still illustrate the same way I did when I was in kindergarten. I am not a very good illustrator. I'm a better writer than I was in elementary school, but I'm definitely the same illustrator. Very cool. So let me see, what's one of your favorite subjects at Sacred Heart?
Probably science.
And why science?
Because my teacher is very kind to me and she does fun activities with my class.
Interesting. So let me see. Do you have an idea of what you want to do when you get older? Or in a career?
Either an artist or a scientist.
Artist or a scientist. So as far as artist, like what type of art? Like being creative, like writing or illustrating what? Type of artist?
Probably illustrating.
Okay. Well, you're on your way. That's why you're here today. So without further ado, I want to have you read your story to everyone, Lizzie and the Missing Dog.
Hi there. My name is Lizzie Pico. I have 4 friends, Peter Yank, Cece Thim, Arter T, and Chico Flick. One morning I woke up with the house quake, and when I came down, my Chihuahua Wally was jumping up and down to get leftover pizza. Then I played with my friends all day. Then I went to bed, and when I woke up, Wally was gone. So I went door to door asking my 4 friends if they have seen Wally. When I got to Cece's house, she opened the door so slightly. I asked if she had seen Wally. She said no. But then I heard a bark, and it was Wally. One day, I was at school talking to Cece, and she said I have to go to class. And the bell did not ring yet. Then, she went the opposite way of class. She went into the school basement, so I followed her, and strapped up was Wally. She was going to hurt him, because when she comes over to my house, I'd give him kisses and hugs, and she thought that I loved him more than I loved her. But I didn't. I loved you both equally. I'm sorry, said Cece, and now we are best friends again. The end.
The end. So I thought it was nice, short, sweet, to the point, short story, and I enjoyed reading it when you submitted it, and I want you to come in and share your story. So how much, we'll ask you a couple more questions. How much is your story based off of your life at all?
It's not.
At all?
No.
At all. That's interesting. It's very creative. So most of my books that I write are based off of my life, right? It's interesting that yours isn't. So you don't have a dog.
No, my brother's actually allergic, so we have 2 cats.
Interesting. So is this your first story that you've ever written?
No, I've written weird stories. The last one I wrote was called High School.
High School. And what was that about?
It was about 2 kids that fall in love and they're in high school.
Interesting. Or a second grader. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So you write a lot of stories in your spare time?
Yes. Well, no, not much. I only wrote like maybe 3 stories in my life.
Okay.
This is probably my 3rd.
Interesting. Well, 3rd time's a charm. Here you are on the show. Well, we enjoyed having you on the show and sharing your story, and we have another contest in the future. I hope that you would submit another story, and hopefully if you win, you come back on the show and share it again.
Yes.
All right. Very cool. Well, thank you, Rhegan, for sharing. So how would you like to read your story with me right here on TV? Again, you can write and illustrate a story no longer than 32 pages, and you can send it in to 75 East Lancaster Avenue, Ardmore, PA 19003, or you can email us at lmtv@lawmerion.org. So you can be on TV with me and your story to everyone. Doesn't that sound exciting? Well, until next time, keep writing and reading really exciting and delightful stories.